Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. I want to talk about composite laminates or bonding, composite bonding. You can even call this composite veneers. I'm not talking about porcelain veneers. Veneers are custom made by a lab. They're as thin as a piece of a Lee press on nail. That's a terrible 80s reference. They're super thin, like micro thin, like you drop them, they can break kind of thin. Like just a few microns, like they're thin, right? So they're not bulky or anything. They're not usually meant to bulk up a tooth. The difference is a composite laminate is like people apply it like spackle, like even like spackling against like makeup or something. Like they just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. They take a tooth that's crooked and then they bulk it up so it looks straight, which is a nice little trick, although it never looks good because they don't shine in the light and they don't have translucency and stuff like that. And they look awful, I think, to me. But in any case, people do them because it's a cheap way to look like they have straight teeth or, you know, proper teeth or teeth the right size that they want. It's just a cheap way to do it. But it never looks good, right? So if you have these suckers on, I think it's different. Like let's say you had like a tooth, and by the way, sorry about this drawing, but I had to sketch something because I had this great case I'd want to show, but there's no way I could get the release on it. So I just kind of sketched an equivalent of what I was talking about. So just kind of figure this is like teeth, but then you see this bulkiness. Like what happened was the teeth were bulked out. Like they tried to make them more facial because the patient like wanted fuller teeth, wanted more forward teeth, right? So wanted straight teeth. So they just stacked composite on the facial. So there's a blob on all six incisors, making them look straight. Goodness knows what's under that blob. That's the thing. But that's what we have to know. We can't do Invisalign with these blobs on the teeth. They look awful. And they were meant to, and you could tell that the roots weren't even like, they'd be like this way, once you put the CPCT in the plant, you're like, no, they gotta all come off. You gotta take all this nonsense off the teeth. There might be small teeth underneath, there may be broken teeth underneath. We don't know what's underneath, but we have to get to the true foundation. And yeah, it's gonna look awful. You're probably gonna have to remove it and you're probably gonna have to do temps same session. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but this is not an Invisalign case, is what I was getting at. So no, we can't take that thing. But let's go back to the composite veneers and why I don't like them. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's okay if you're just doing a tooth. Like sometimes I've seen a lateral incisor, small. Yeah, let's make a look at a little wider or a little longer. I don't have an issue with that. Something like that, if it's done appropriately and the tooth was already uprighted and straight to begin with, and we were just adding to the width or the length, that's fine. That can stay on. I mean, sometimes depends on if you bulked it out in the front, maybe not. But if considerations were taken that the teeth were already straight, aligned, and uprighted when you made it, then it's not a problem. It's when people do sloppy composite veneers, irregardless or regardless of the position of the roots, the torque, the alignment, is when they have to come off first. So, because they're basically going to interfere with the movement. It's like, where do you move the teeth, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's going to mask the underlying tissue. We can't do the basic fundamentals of orthodontics. It's just not going to work. Plus, I mean, you have undercuts and stuff like that, especially when they're bulky. There's crazy undercuts, crazy perio issues. It's going to get locked up in the aligner. No, no, take them off. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an expensive case. I mean, that's the risk. If you're going to get these suckers, you better make sure you're done with your ortho and you have a retainer. So, because if you just get these and you didn't make a new retainer and you had ortho before, well, guess what? The little rubber bands in the mouth are going to try to move back, and now you just have a big old mess. So I see this more than you guys know. So watch out with those composite veneers, laminates, luminaires. All right, thanks.